Yeah, you just call him good.
Well, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Old?
I would think it would be the opposite. You come back and have a performance like that.
Nah, still feel old. No, I feel okay, you know. I feel good. It's good to come in and get a finish. It's something I expected from this fight. I did. You know, I'm confident in my abilities, but I'm also very realistic. And when I watch film and when I try and assess my strengths and weaknesses versus my opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and I just thought, watching film, there were a limited amount of ways that he could beat me, and I felt like I had a few different really strong chances for me to finish him. So it's kind of what I expected. Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you hear fighters talking about retirement before they have their last fight, it's kind of like a little bit of a death wish, you know, 1 foot out. It didn't work that way for you. Do you feel like that's kind of a myth?
You know, I don't know. You know, I think it's probably a case-by-case basis. I mean, you can't really give like a blanket statement to that. You know, some people have things coming in. So for some fighters, they're retiring because mentally they're having a hard time with the game nowadays. Some physically, some are just tired of it. They don't want to train anymore. That's not really the case for me. I love training. I love fighting. I enjoy being in here. You know, I worked my ass off during this camp. As a matter of fact, I actually had an injury about 10 weeks out, 11 weeks out maybe. And so I made a decision, and I was in Texas. So I went to Florida, back to Sanford, got some rehab over at Barwis, some of the best rehab in the world, Barwis Performance, holla. And, you know, got in there with the guys out at Sanford MMA, and they really pushed me hard. My strength conditioning over at Barwis, they really pushed me hard. Tony, thanks, Tony. And I put it all out there in the camp. I knew that this could potentially be my last fight, and I wanted to go out on my terms, you know. And my terms are you know, win, lose, or draw. I put everything into it. You know, if I didn't put everything into the training for this camp, then, you know, I don't feel like I would be able to leave right now. But since I did, and I went, and I really trained hard, and I put everything into it, and luckily my body held up. You know, I feel good, and I feel at peace with where I'm at.
Do you feel like it's going to be harder if you, let's say you do decide to retire, is it going to be harder going out on a win? You know? No. I mean, ideally, that's the way you want to go out. You know, I mean, if you go, like you say, oh, this is going to be my last fight, and then you lose, it's like, well, fuck, man, I want to get that one back. I don't want to go out on a loss. But then you lose, and then you retire. It looks like you retired because you lost. You know, shit, I won, and, you know, to step away from the game after a win, it's just going out on your own terms and knowing that you did it when you wanted to do it. I still got brain cells left, you know, and I can use those, hopefully. Is there anything about your opponent that surprised you?
No, I mean, it was pretty cut and dry when we watched the film. I watch a lot of film, and I study my opponents, and I watch film on other people's opponents and other fighters too. I like to break people down. It's what I enjoy doing. And it was pretty much everything I expected, except for one thing. I will say his kicks came a little quicker than I thought they were going to. He did a good job at creating space after he threw a kick. You know, I really wanted to counter off of those kicks, and he was throwing those kicks. They weren't really landing. I mean, maybe he landed a couple on my legs. I checked the first one, the inside. I feel like that kind of kept him from, I turned my leg in, and we made pretty hard shin-to-shin contact there. I felt like that kind of deterred him. One of the next ones I countered, or, you know, I just came back with the right hand to the body. I wanted to come right hand to the body and then left hook, but he was already gone, so I couldn't throw that left hook. I think the only thing that really surprised me was just that he was a little quicker than I expected.
And you mentioned you might come back if there was something special or interesting. What would a fight like that look like for you?
You know, I don't know. Maybe a really cool like grappling matchup with somebody that could just like scramble and grapple, or maybe a really cool just like somebody that is kind of sloppy like me that might just want to stand there and brawl. You know, I'd like to have a knockdown drag out fight. That's, you know, I don't feel like I've had a lot of those where we just stand there and punch each other in the face. You know, that would be
that's kind of cool. You know, when you see those fights that are just like knockdown dragouts, I would love to have one of those, but I'm okay if that doesn't happen, you know. I mean, that just something really cool, really interesting, you know, like I said, maybe like a high-level grappler or a good brawl would be fun. Yeah.
Thank you.
What was the injury that you had 10 weeks out that you had to deal with?
I pulled a hamstring. Yeah, grade 2. So put me out, you know, 4 to 5 weeks, but you know, maybe it was like 11 weeks out. I had a full 6-week camp out at Sanford, but it was almost a blessing in a way, because I pulled my hamstring and then I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? So I went out and bought an Aerodyne for my house and then just started cranking out the miles on that sucker, and those fucking machines will whoop your ass, you know. Aerodyne bikes are tough. Like, that's no joke. But and then it you know, kind of forced my hand to get up to Florida, because I was back and forth whether I was going to go, just because we just bought a house in Fort Worth, and you know, it's kind of one of those things. Just bought a house and we were settling in, and I was like, I could do my camp here. You know, I got great people back in Fort Worth, but at the same, it's not Sanford. You know, I mean, Sanford MMA is the best gym in the world, so to just make the decision to go out there and oh, sorry, my.
No, it's good work up there. I mean, what's it feel like? I mean, you go back and watch, now you're watching the clips and stuff. I mean, you're looking at your work. How good does it feel to kind of, I know when it happens, you know, it's hard to kind of reflect back, but now you're looking at your handiwork. You're looking pretty sharp right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I caught him with a good knee. That's pretty good. I'm an ugly sucker. I don't know how sharp I look when I'm out there fighting, but it gets the job done.
Well, you know, it's funny. You look back at your career, most of your finishes and stuff are submissions.
Yeah.
How good does it feel that you finished off with strikes, that you took them down?
Look at, if you I had a hair stuck like way up in my nose, I'm sorry. If you look at my career, you say a lot of my fights have been submission finishes, but it's because I watch film and I break people down. Who was I fighting when I submitted him? I was fighting strikers for the most part. Mark Striegel look at his record. Look how many submissions he has. I knocked him out. Who else did I knock out? Jim Ehlers. What is he? He's a submission guy.
Yep.
So I'm just smart. I'm not going out there and fighting your strength. You know, I'm not going to fight to your strength. I'm going to watch film. I'm going to break you down, and I'm going to beat you at where your weakness is. I knew I knew he was chinny. I knew he had a weak chin. I didn't want it to go to the ground. When I took him down in the first round, the only reason I did that is because in that body lock, I wasn't doing much when he had the body lock, and I could feel it zapping his energy. I think he's a little too small for 45. He was squeezing and squeezing and squeezing, and then I was just creating space and then throwing little knees to the belly, and I could feel his energy just going less and less. And then I figured when I took him down, if I could get him settled, and he would I thought he would work a little harder to get up, I would just zap his energy. In the second round, he would come out flat. He came out flat in the second round, but he didn't really work too hard to get up. You know, I planned on just holding him. Yeah, his corner was saying, he's just going to hold you. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm just going to hold him. I want him just to waste his energy, you know? Like, I knew what was going to happen. I've seen in his past fights where people just didn't concede position to him, and they made him work, and then he gassed out and got choked out by a 25-pounder, you know, so.
I believe the commentary, did you go over to them right afterwards and you said something like you were hearing like what their team was saying? What did you say to the commentary?
I just told them, you know, they asked me what I said to his corner, and I told them, you know, I'm not going to say it. I was being disrespectful.
Gotcha. You know, when you made the decision, you said your body wasn't, you know, you were listening to your body or paying attention. You know, I quickly look back, and it looks like it started maybe in 2019 where there started to have some canceled bouts due to injury. At what point did it start sinking into your head like, maybe I need to start really paying attention to these injuries and start thinking about, is the end coming near? At what point did that start happening?
You know, I don't know. I think it was the point where you start seeing your family struggle a little bit because you're not fulfilling your obligations, you know, and so when you're only getting paid once every 2 years, it's not, you know, you got to get a different job. You know, I know for this career, you have to really put everything into it. You can't come in half-assed. you can't be focusing on one thing and still be fighting, I don't think. So really, to me, it was just when I realized that every time I took one step forward, I was taking 2 steps back, and that probably came about the time I got this. I tore my pectoralis major tendon, and I had that time off, and I had to get another job. I mean, and thank God, you know, Robbie Lawler and Dave Martin and Henry Hoof, you know, they gave me the chance to work at the gym at Sanford, so I wasn't, you know, struggling. And that was kind of when it started creeping in my head that, you know, I'll give this another shot, and if I'm still getting injured like this, I can't continue to take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I feel like at my peak when I'm training hard, I'm a top 10, top 15 guy. I mean, I know that in my heart. It's just you can't be a top 10 guy when you get hurt, you know, every fucking camp.
Yeah, which is got to be a little scary when you're making a career change. But, you know, tell us again, you know, a little bit about what you're going to be doing, what this roofing business is about, and what your next chapter will be.
So the Bassingers, so I coach 2 boys. They're like my little brothers. I do consider them family. Like I do just call them my little brothers. Bryce and Barrick Bassinger, I started coaching them when they were 5 and 7 years old, wrestling. And their father, Raven Bassinger, I worked for him. He owned a fish farm at the time, and I worked for him on the farm and worked for him doing some sales stuff and coaching the boys. And Bryce and Ray started a roofing company several years back, and it just blew up. And you know, they asked me if I would consider coming to work for them in sales and doing commercial and residential sales for them. And I do have a large book of contacts, you know. So I thought it was right up my alley, and they do too. And so, you know, I've started segueing into that over the past year, and I really love it. And so, yeah, if you guys, you know, we're certified all across the United States, you know, commercial, residential, let me know. I'll come fix your roof up. If you don't like your neighbor, I'll do it shirtless. They'll hate that. You don't want to see this. You don't want this body. They don't want to be staring at this body across the street. I'll promise you that.
So is it just sales, or are you actually getting up on the roof? Are you actually trading?
Well, we do several things. You know,
job for another one.
So I'm doing sales, yes, but I walk the customer through the entire process. So I'll go out and do the inspection of the roof, and then I will work with the insurance company and make sure when the adjuster comes out, I'll meet them there to make sure that they're seeing the same things I'm seeing, and that the claim gets filed. And then through the process of us re-roofing, I'll be there making sure that everything's going smoothly. So, you know, I'm working, and I'm not physically putting the roof on, but I'm there managing the job and making sure everything goes. I'm going to bat for my customers with the insurance.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah, I thought you were trading one risky job for another risky job. So I think you're doing the right thing. I guess, and lastly for me, you do have a wealth of knowledge. Obviously, how you've been able to lead yourself through, and the way that you're breaking down your opponents. Will you still try to find ways to coach people? Will you still try to stay involved in MMA in some sort of way, if you can possibly?
I do enjoy grappling. I don't know that I want to be a coach. I don't know that I want to coach people. I like cornering people. I like cornering my friends and my training partners. I think it's necessary to help these guys. But as far as just being a coach, I don't think I'm interested in that. I am interested in breaking down fights, talking fighting. So I would love to be behind a counter, you know, doing some analyst work. I mean, I really would. That's something that's right up my alley. I don't know if I've kind of got a face for radio though, so I don't know if they want me behind the camera. You know what I mean?
I dig it. Well, congrats on the victory, and congrats on the new career. And
all right, thank you. We good? All right, thank you guys. I appreciate it.